Hi, my name is Kyle Wilson, former amateur MMA champion with over 10 years experience training across various martial arts. In this video, I'm going to show you a no equipment necessary, home, follow along MMA workout. As with any workout, please make sure your body's warm and you've stretched beforehand. This workout consists of 10 30-second intervals to make up a single 5-minute round. The objective is to complete 3 rounds with a minute's rest in between each round. The length of this workout, including the rest periods, replicates that of a professional MMA bout. For each 30-second interval, we're going to perform a different exercise. The idea is to try and complete as many reps as possible. Allow me to run through the different exercises we're going to complete at each interval. Beginning with knees, feet, jump, shadow boxing knees, fast punches, 1-2 sprawl, jumping knees, lateral lunges, press ups, frog jumps forward, twisting sit-ups, and a plank. Allow me to demonstrate each exercise, breaking down the proper form and technique. I'll also expand on how each exercise translates into an MMA environment. At the end of this video, I'll perform a single follow-along round of this workout for you to complete with me at home. For this first interval, we're going to perform what I call knees, feet, jump, which is simply named after the movement. We're going to start in a standing position and lower ourselves to our knees, being careful not to slam your knees on a hard surface. From here, I'm going to explosively jump to my feet. Currently I'm on the balls of my feet. I'm going to try and jump with my upper body and bring my feet underneath me. I'm landing in this deep squat position. From here, I'm going to perform a tuck jump. So I'm going to jump as high as I can and try and bring my knees to my chest. The reason this movement translates into MMA is because let's pretend I'm sat in my opponent's guard. Maybe I've landed some big shots, I've got them hurt. I want to get to my feet so I can stand up and put more weight behind my shots. This kneeling position is as though I'm in someone's guard. I want to get to my feet as quickly as possible. Hence why we're practicing this jump motion. From here, obviously, I'd stand and strike normally. The reason I add a tuck jump on the end is so we can utilise some of that type A muscle fibre and build our explosive power. Exercise number 2, shadow boxing knees. Let's pretend we've got a tie clinch on our opponent. So, good tie clinch, you're going palm to the back of the hand, either side depending on your dominant hand. Ideally, this grip is on the crown of someone's head so we can get good leverage to pull their head down and knee. For the shadow boxing knees, I'm going to skip one leg back. The reason I take a leg back typically in a combat situation is to create extra space between me and my opponent. This means because my knees got further room to travel, I can generate more power, come up on my toes and gain more momentum to deliver that devastating knee. So with my tie clinch, palm to the back of the hand on the crown of the head, I'm going to try and make my elbows touch. Realistically, my elbows will be digging into their collarbone. I'm skipping a leg back, and to bring it forward for the knee motion, I'm coming up on the tiptoes of my supporting leg, and with the kneeing leg, I'm pushing that hip through like so. For this cardio interval as part of the workout, I'm going to perform this with speed. I'm not too worried about the technique. Remember, this is a workout, it's not a technical class. Notice how with each knee I'm putting down on the head as though I would with a person. I'm taking this leg back so I can generate that momentum, putting the head down into my knee and skipping. By performing this skipping motion, I'm doing this exercise for cardio. We're building that strength up in our core. We're building some lactic acid up in the deltoids and the calves, which are going to help you when you get in the ring and you begin getting tired. Interval 3 consists of fast punches. So, for this workout, we're trying to build up a sweat, get our heart rate going. So I'm not looking for technical sort of slow shadow boxing where you're moving around, visualising your opponent. I want us to burn ourselves out here. So we're going to try and throw as many punches as possible. Whether that's rapid 1-2s, rolling uppercuts, or wide hooks. It's up to you. Perhaps you could do a different variation per round. It's fairly self-explanatory how these motions translate into a combat situation. The purpose we're including them in part of this workout is because we're developing our speed, we're teaching our muscles to contract and relax rapidly, and you're also building up the strength in your deltoids. By building up big, strong, powerful deltoids in them later rounds of the fight, it's less likely that you're going to want to drop your hands because you'll have that shoulder strength to keep your hands high and keep your guard up. This next exercise is the 1-2 sprawl. So, it's fairly common in MMA fights. You see one fighter's getting the better of the other fighter on the feet. Maybe they've rattled them with a big shot. So, the fighter who's hurt wants to take the other fighter down so they can get on top, get their wits back. So, let's pretend I've landed a big 1-2 and this has hurt my opponent. So they want to get that takedown on us. They've level changed, they've dropped their level, and now they want to grab our legs. When performing the double leg takedown, they want to suck the back of your knees in, get their centre of gravity underneath ours so they can run us down and get some elevation. This is where our sprawl comes in. The sprawl is basically depriving the opponent of everything they want. They want to get our knees and our hips close to them so they can get their centre of gravity underneath us. We're trying to get our hips and our knees back. So again, for this interval, I'm going to throw my 1-2. My opponent level changes, they get in on a double leg. Trying to stuff the head with one hand, this other hand becomes a whizzer. If you don't understand this technical terminology, don't worry, I'll show you an alternative version for this exercise in a moment. So I'm stuffing their head to the mat, this hand becomes my whizzer. Trying to get my hips and my knees back as quickly as possible to the ground, looking up, and I'll get to my feet as quickly as possible, ready to strike again. If you've never been to an MMA class before, we can replace the sprawl with a burpee. So we're still going to throw our 1-2, but rather than worry about stuffing the head and trying to get a whizzer, we're just going to bend our knees, put our feet to the floor, try and get our hips back. For the sake of trying to keep it MMA relevant, we'll push our head up as though we've sprawled, and then we're trying to get our feet back underneath us, and we're high in the air. So it's 1-2, bend our knees, hands down, knees back, jumping back to our feet, and up to the sky. Exercise number 5 is jumping knees, or basically explosive jumping deep lunges. So, start in a lunged position. So I'm taking one leg back, and my knee should be behind my hip. On the front leg, my knee and my heel should be more or less in line. What I'm trying to do here is push off the front leg into a standing and eventually a jumping position, and as I do so, I'm trying to swing this leg forward and bring my knee as high as possible. So as I come up here, I'm beginning swinging this leg, jump, and bring that back knee as high as I can. What we're learning to do here is two things. One, we're pushing hard off that front leg, so when we throw our knees, we can generate that extra power. And we're learning to really drive through with this back leg. It's also helping you develop the muscles in the legs, and especially the glutes, so that you can deliver them knees with devastating power. Exercise number 6 is the lateral lunge. We're going to perform a beginner's and an advanced variation of this exercise. The lateral lunge will help develop your abductors, which is the large muscle that runs along the inside of your thigh, and give you the ability to change direction quickly. So perhaps you've got an aggressive opponent and you need to quickly go one way and then come out the other. For the beginner's variation, let's start feet shoulder width apart. I'm going to take a deep step out strictly to the side with one leg. So for me, I'm going to take a deep step out with my left leg. I'm going to lower my hips to the left, and I'm going to quickly push off my left leg, bring my feet back together to this shoulder width apart position, and then performing the same exercise on the right. So taking a deep step out with my right leg, dropping my hips, and then pushing off my right leg quickly. You could also perform this exercise with a dumbbell or a medicine ball. Try to perform the exercise as quickly as possible. For the advanced variation of the lateral lunge, I'm going to add a jumping motion. So I'm going to start off to the right side, standing on my right leg, taking my left leg off the floor and placing my left foot behind my right calf. They're not touching, I'm just using that as some guidance on where to place my foot. I'm going to bend my right knee slightly and quickly jump over to the left side, landing on my left foot. You'll see that this drill also utilises your balance and your core. Now I'm on the left side, I'm going to quickly jump off my left foot and try and land on my right foot, repeating as many repetitions as fast as possible. Notice how I'm driving off each foot, trying to change direction as quickly as possible. Again, let's imagine I'm in a ring, I'm circling one way and I've got to quickly change the other way to get out of the way of an aggressive opponent. Exercise number 7 is the good old fashioned press up, but we're going to perform a variation to get more lower chest activation. The reason we want to target the lower chest is because when you're throwing ground and pound, let's say I've got a mounted opponent here, this punching down motion is very similar to that of, say, a tricep dip or a decline bench press. Both of them exercises, of course, utilise the triceps and the lower chest muscles. So traditionally when you're taught to do a press up, it's all about keeping your feet together, your core tight, your spine straight. For beginners, you're normally taught to have your hands approximately shoulder width apart and your palm should be underneath your shoulders. To activate the lower chest slightly more, we're going to bring our hands back in line with our chest. Again, imagine that we're performing a decline bench press but upside down in a press up position. Same as a normal press up, I'm going to bend my triceps, get my chest to the floor and press up for full extension. As you do this, try and tense your core, tense your glutes and keep your feet together. Exercise number 8 is frog jumps forward. So I'm going to start in a deep squat position, as though I'm a frog. The objective here is to jump as far forward as possible. So I've got to drive off my feet and swing my feet forward to cover maximum distance. Once I've done one repetition, I'll spin round and perform the same exercise coming back where I just came from. The reason this exercise is so applicable for MMA is because it helps me develop the technique and strengthen my legs for blast double legs. So let's say I've got an aggressive opponent. I want to hit my level change, and for a blast double leg, I want to get my forehead in the middle of their chest, drive off my feet, grab their legs, and drive them to the mat from here. Excuse my poor technique, but you can see how this exercise will help develop that type A muscle fibre in your legs to develop that explosive blast double leg. Nearly there, guys. Exercise number 9, twisting sit-ups. Now, pretty much all motion in martial arts involves some sort of twist. Even the basic jab cross, there's a twisting in the torso and especially our core. So, there's lots of ways we can incorporate the twisting motion into our abdominal exercises. I'm going to demonstrate just a few. We're going to perform a beginner's variation, a medium variation and an advanced variation. So for the beginners out there, we're going to start lying on the floor, trying to keep our hands on the head. If you can't do this, that's fine. We're going to sit up with our torso, pick a side, so I'm going to start with the right, twist as far around as I can, put my hands on the floor. I'm going to return to the middle, hands back on the head, lie back down, sit up again, twist to the opposite side now, hands on the floor. Alternating left and right with each repetition. Now, the medium level exercise. We're going to come to a normal sit-up position. So, heels close to our bum. I'm going to try and keep my hands on the head, and as I sit up, I'm going to take the opposite elbow to the opposite knee. So to begin with, I'm going to take my left elbow to the outside of my right knee. I'm going to lie back down on the floor, and I'm going to take my right elbow to my left knee. And with each repetition, I'm trying to get the opposite elbow to the outside of the opposite knee. Now, if you've got a really strong core, we can perform a V-sit variation. So V-sits are hard as it is. So for the V-sit, I'm starting here, sat up with my torso, legs on the floor. I'm going to try and take my feet off the floor. Just holding this for 30 seconds is hard. To make this harder now and to incorporate the twist, I'm going to try and plant both hands to each side of the mat, slapping it down as quick as possible. I've got to try not to let my feet hit the floor. I'm going to try and keep my legs as steady as possible. As you can see, I'm not doing particularly good at this. And the last exercise, guys, is the traditional plank. Much like the twisting abdominal exercises, there's plenty of variations out there, but we're going to stick with a traditional plank on our forearms. I'll explain why I like this variation the most in a second. So, for the traditional plank, we're trying to come down onto the floor, resting on our forearms, so it should just be our forearms, our hands and the feet on the floor. Trying to keep my spine as straight as possible, tensing my abs and tensing my glute muscles. Hold this position for 30 seconds. The reason I like this framing so much for MMA or Muay Thai is because let's say I'm in a standing striking position and I've got a tight clinch here. You can see how going palm to hand and getting my forearms in the opponent's collarbone looks much like the plank position, but I'm standing up rather than resting on the floor. You could also argue there's a very similar position when you're trying to get your frames ready to shrimp in side control. So as you can see, this framing on the forearms / planking position is actually quite a versatile frame that can be used across all facets of martial arts. Without further ado, let's go through this workout in a follow along style. For the purpose of keeping this video short, I'm going to perform one round of the circuit. Once you've completed your one round, rewind to this point and complete the other 2 rounds to complete the entire workout. Okay guys, we're going to start on the buzzer with knees, feet, jump. That's it, just try and jump as high as you can. Utilise them glute muscles, build that explosive power. Okay, next exercise. Tie clinch knees. Hands high, building that skipping motion, pulling down with the arms into each knee. Let's get ready for fast punches next. Let's go guys, as fast as you can. "15 seconds, you can switch it up if you want. One, 2 sprawls next. Okay. 1, 2, sprawl. Get them hips back, head up. Let's be quick with our sprawl, someone's trying to get you to the ground. For beginners, we did the burpee. Okay, jumping lunges / explosive knees now. Let's go. You want to be the next Jorge Masvidal? This is what you got to do. Lateral lunges now, guys. Deep step one side, back to the centre, step into the other. As fast as we can. Let's go for the advanced variation now. Press ups. Trying to keep our hands in line with our chest, spine straight, core tight. Breathe in on the way down, out on the way up. You want to get that big ground and pound? Here we go. Frog jumps forward. Deep squat. Jump as far forward as you can. Trying to bring your feet forward with a maximum distance. Nearly there. Last minute of the workout now, guys. Twisting sit-ups. So think about the variation you want to do. And let's smash them out as quick as possible. I'm going to move on to the beginner's variation. Twisting. Trying to get the elbow on the outside each side. Moving on to the advance. The V-sit. Tapping the floor as fast as we can. And to finish off, guys, the plank. On our forearms, feet together, core nice and tight, tensing the glutes. Last 30 seconds, guys, come on. Finish strong now, you don't want to quit at the last hurdle. I know it's burning, but we're almost there. Congratulations. Take a minute's rest and I'll repeat this twice more. So if you've made it through that workout, congratulations. If you enjoyed the workout or even just the video, please press the like button below and subscribe for more MMA workout videos and technical martial arts related content such as technique and fighter breakdowns. Thank you for your time.